Our reporter Sharon Momanyi went to the court and sat in through the whole proceedings. She now joins us live from our city center studios to give us a better understanding of what exactly this means. Sharon, thank you for joining us. A common mwananchi somewhere is wondering, what exactly does this ruling mean?
All right, just as the words you've heard there from the petitioners and some of the interested parties used to describe this ruling, saying that it's absolutely progressive, saying that it is a big win to the quest for gender equality really in the country. And we had there, as part of the clip you've just played, by the ruling of Justice John Mutivo, just indicating in his ruling saying that Parliament grossly failed and also breached its fundamental obligations as well as constitutional provisions by failing to enact this particular amendment bill of 2015. Maybe what would be useful, Akisa, is to just bring our viewers to understand what particularly was the call for this petition in the High Court. Now, this particular amendment bill that Parliament, failed to pass last year, in May 5th last year, was a bill that was put together by a technical working group that was put together by the Attorney General. And now this goes way back, right from the 2010 new constitutions. Kenyans passed this constitution, and Article 81 of this constitution stipulates that no particular public service office should have one gender occupy the seats in a proportion of more than 2/3 of the entire office. And so the query then was how exactly to see this rule implemented. What are the action points? How do you actually enact the spirit to particular action points? And so the Attorney General then wrote a letter, a request to the High Court, to the Supreme Court just to find out and advice on exactly how to proceed in seeing this particular article of the Constitution implemented. And so the Supreme Court, ruled that this particular article of the Constitution is absolutely progressive, and said that Parliament had up to August of 2015, to just slowly and progressively find a mechanism that would see action points, a framework for the implementation of this. And so the Attorney General put together the technical working group that, worked very consultatively, just taking opinions from the public, from constitutional experts, to see exactly what would be, feasible kind of a formula to implement this particular rule. And so they worked since that time up to August of 2015, when they provided this proposal to Parliament, and Parliament the first time failed to, adopt it, just moving forward this deadline of August 27, 2015 by 1 year to August 27, 2016. Come that time, they failed yet again. And this is what saw this particular petitioners, including, the Center for the Rights, Education and Awareness, which is the main petitioner in this case, move to court. And what do they want? They want a dissolution of Parliament on grounds that they failed to represent the public, being that this particular rule of law is enshrined in the Constitution, indicating that this is what Kenyans wanted. And so Parliament had the duty to see that there is a framework for the implementation. And indeed, in the ruling by Justice Mutivo today, we saw him saying that the Constitution has supremacy and Parliament has no supremacy with regard to articles enshrined in the Constitution. And that is why we see this petitioners and joint groups, including the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. We have the National Women's Steering Group, just all saying that this is indeed a big win for Kenyans, not just for women, because also to note is that, the quest for gender equality is not a woman quest, but an entire, gender quest, in the sense that also women should not occupy, more than 2/3 of any public office. So that is what is being described as. So let's remember, 60 days is what Parliament has been given to ensure that this constitutional amendment bill of 2015 is enacted, that there is a mechanism in place. And this would be right in time before the general election in August. So if this works, Kenyans then are possibly looking at a scenario where public offices will be constituted in a way that has been prescribed by the Constitution. Akisa.
All right, Sharon, thank you so much for that update. And of course, we will be bringing you more details and more reactions from that particular ruling made in the morning by Judge John Mutivo. But at this point,